When he was great, he absolutely annihilated, dominated par fives. First 244 holes here at the Players, 126 under on the par fives. He was 3 over today. And those 2 double bogeys when in those previous 244, he'd only made double one other time. Brandel, what do you see with that golf swing?
Well, David and Frank and I have been talking about it. Hell, the whole world's been talking about it. But if we can agree that 2001 golf swing and the golf that it produced was the greatest golf that's ever been played, right? We agree that?
You got to look at 2000, 2001.
Right, that golf swing.
It's just incredible.
The question is, how do you go from this golf swing to that golf swing? Chris Como has stated that's what they're trying to do. Nota Begay has said that's what they're trying to do. So let's just take a look at it. And folks at home, make up your own mind. But here's what I'm going to tell you what I think. As he moves off of the ball on the left, that's 2001 on the left and this week on the right, what you're going to notice is that he still hangs left. And most of the problems that we see in his golf swing, in his downswing, are the result of what he does right off of the ball. On the left, you can see that he's moved off of the ball and that his hips are much more level. Now, if you look at the right, he's staying centered or actually even hanging left. This is a hangover from his previous coach. He's actually got what they call sort of left pelvic tilt there, as opposed to keeping his hips level on the left. He's moving off of the ball. He's getting wider, but also he's staying taller on the left. He's dropping down on the right. Now, you do drop down in your downswing, but you want to stay tall on your backswing. And as you see at the top, when you hang left, I want you to look at his right foot, folks, on the one on the right. Look at his right foot. Now, if you hang left, it almost looks like the pressure's on the outside of the foot. Now, contrast that with his move on the left side, where his pressure is squarely on the foot or on the inside part of the foot. That allows you to push off and have a better brace. But because he's moved off of the ball on the left, he can then move into the ball. On the right, because he's hanging left, he goes way left and he stalls. His hip turn stalls. You can see that he's moved too far to the left with his lower body. And on the left, he's clearing. He's in a much better position. But because his body on the right side has stalled, and because he's almost dipped down with his right side, he's got right side pelvic tilt there now, you're going to see that he delivers the club with a lot of forward shaft lean. You see that? He's got a much weaker grip right now than he used to as well, which has a lot to do with his sort of trying to roll this release. But that is the difference to me. On the left, he moves off of the ball and he stays tall, and it allows him to move through the ball. It almost looks like to me if he just spent some time, or a couple of different things. One, feeling a move off the ball, strengthening his grip, trying to get into his right side, but also trying to hit drivers off of the deck. Because if he hit a lot of drivers off the deck or tried to, it would force him to have to move forward. My thoughts. Interested to hear your guys.
I think he's a long ways from that right now.
Yeah.
I was talking about that earlier today, that the reality is he's not playing and swinging like he wants to. He has a lot of mechanical falls going and kind of doing that. You can almost call it like a reverse weight shift, a reverse pivot, where he's staying on his left side so much in the backswing. I look at that, and it's a possibility, a result of the bad back. You don't feel like you want to get off the ball and rotate. And one thing you notice in the left swing versus the right, too, the one on the left from 15 years ago or so, the depth of the pivot going back. As you mentioned, you called it some pelvic tilt thing. But his right hip really got this way, where that right side of his glutes actually start going towards the target. And then when you're coming back down through, your left side has to come away from the target. And that's what creates all that rotation. And another thing you got to point out is look at the body differences too. Looks a lot more